there's something special here where people approach the work we do with a very considered approach to creating characters that are obviously you can connect with and that are lovable. And then there's just good old craft. I think Aardman likes putting in the hours and crafting something as beautiful as they can. And I hope this has integrity and craft in it in the end.
America has Pixar, Japan has Studio Ghibli, and Europe has Aardman. From Wallace and Gromit to Morph to Creature Comforts to Chicken Run, Aardman has been entertaining families using stop-motion models for 46 years, and it's up there with the most talented animation studios in the world.
It's also a studio that has a special place in my own heart. Aardman was founded and continues to be based in my hometown, the beautiful city of Bristol in southwest England. I would walk past the studio every day on my walk home from school, staring through the window at the iconic characters that my granddad would sit me in front of every Saturday.
Now, a decade later, Aardman is making its first in-house console game, 1111 Memories Retold. Launching in time for the First World War centenary, 1111 is a huge departure from Aardman's usual style of uplifting, family-friendly comedy. A collaboration with DigixArt, a French studio led by Valiant Hearts director Johan Fenice, the game is a decidedly more sombre affair, with an inventive, painterly art style and a medium Aardman has barely ever dipped its clay toes into.
To find out why Aardman embarked on such a radical journey, I went home to Bristol to meet the team, and over the next 7 or so minutes, we'll explore why Aardman wanted to make 1111, why now, and how on earth an Oscar-winning animation studio makes a video game.
Despite its animation roots, Aardman has made video games before. Over 50 of them, in fact. However, pretty much all of these have been small-scale flash games, mobile apps, educational games, or licensing deals with other developers.
1111, on the other hand, represents the first time Aardman has brought development of a console game in-house. Which begs the question, why now?
So the interactive department where I work, as we talked about, we've been making sort of smaller games and educational games and things for our own properties, but like web games and apps for quite a while. But the department's full of gamers, and it's always something that we've wanted to do, take that next step to a larger level. And when this kind of opportunity came up, it just seemed like the perfect thing for us to do, because working with Johan, you look at his previous, Valiant Hearts and previous things he's worked on, it's games which have really good stories behind them. And Aardman at its heart, what we kind of pride ourselves on is really good characters and really great storytelling.
It was during the Games for Change festival in Paris 3 years ago, and there were people from Aardman in this event. We talked about World War I because with British, it's something we have in common. And Aardman wanted to go more into video games, to try to do video games, because they are a very famous animation studio. And so it was a perfect fit with DigixArt, the studio, to work with such a famous studio in animation.
I think that the important thing, the different thing with games is you have agency inside that story, So that can let you take part in the story in ways that you wouldn't with a more passive experience. So I think that what that enables you to do is make choices, and then see the ramifications of those choices. So what games allow you to do is let people make those choices and experience the outcomes of their own choices. They have responsibility then for what's happening to the characters. So this seemed like the perfect first step into this world of something we really want to be doing more of. We obviously were most well known for stop motion animation, but we have a large computer graphics department for linear animation. We have a large interactive team, and it just seemed like we wanted to take all the other skills we've got and now take them to that next level of console level games, because it's something we're all really interested in.
In an animated film, you can pre-render everything. By the time the movie hits theatres, everything is wrapped up into a neat little package, and the studio's job is done. In a video game, the studio's work must react to you, the player. This presented more challenges than the team at Aardman initially anticipated, and Fenice even had to help coach his colleagues through the process.
This is something that was new for Aardman, so of course it was more struggling technically for sure, but the benefit of the art direction, the quality of the animation and the art was so huge that if you make the balance, it's so good.
Obviously everything in a game engine has to be real time. So trying to achieve this quite unique look that we've done inside a game engine was a challenge, even to get it to run. Trying to do everything real time is very, very different from being able to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour per frame that you're rendering. You know, we have a render farm for our CG people, and so when they're rendering something else, they send it away. A few hours later, you get it back.
Aardman had never made a game of this scale before, so understandably lent on Fenice and his team's technical experience. DigixArt is only 3 years old, but it's full of industry veterans, and their extensive experience was used to help coach Aardman through the process. The British studio, on the other hand, brought its trademark storytelling craft and visual design to create fleshed out characters and a unique art style. It's too early to tell how the finished product will turn out, but just the process of making 1111 has helped Aardman in its other endeavours.
For me, it's very benefit, like something that can bring new ideas and new art forms into video game. In fact, it's good to blend these different genres and people from other industries than only video games. So they can bring those references of painters, of sculptures, these kind of things that we don't think too much when you are into the video game bubble. And it leads to something very unique. And the visual of the game is very unique because of those external inputs into the project.
But then also because, you know, games have to be on the forefront of technology, then I think that then they can give back to other industries like film and things like that. It's quite interesting actually, on our last film, on Aardman, the interactive team here, we'd actually developed a VR tool for them to use, even so there's these big football scenes inside the film, and the guys are running around on obviously stop motion football pitch, but the stadium itself is CG, but then for the animators to be able to see like the shots of where the stadium is and that, we made them a little VR package with an Oculus where the animator could put the headset on, kind of put the camera where they wanted and see it from the viewpoint of the characters inside. So that was a literal, like, physical us going, okay, well, how can we improve your filmmaking process with kind of the interactive tools that we've got?
Aardman has built up a mastery of animation. It's been working on feature films and television for 46 years. It's won countless BAFTAs and Oscars, and has a reputation as a leader in the animation space. It's not at that stage with video games yet, but the studio has been working on making better, more believable, and more interesting characters since 1972. That should put it in good stead for making 1111 and more video games in the future.
I hope in our future we've got a chance to try and really make people laugh, but I've noticed delivering humorous situations in computer games can actually be quite a hard thing. So in some ways that maybe we shied away from that as our first attempt, and underlying a lot of Aardman's work is a purpose, is a reason. We like the idea of getting up in the morning and not just making entertainment, but making something that we feel should be in the world. I can see somewhere in the future there being something that people look at and go, oh, Aardman must have made that. I'd love to get the physical craft that Aardman has somewhere into the work we do. But at the same time, when you actually look into the depth of Aardman, all the stuff that comes out outside of the Wallace and Gromits and Shaun the Sheep, you realise more that you normally kind of see. So I hope there'll be plenty of innovation in there as well.
1111 represents new ground for Aardman. Not only is this a new medium for much of the team, but it's also a huge departure in tone and style from their previous work. It's an experiment then, but a calculated one. Once they're comfortable with the process of making games, the studio wants to make something more quintessentially Aardman. That's what really excites me. I want to see those wide eyes and giant teeth, with that indescribable stop-motion magic, and stories that are equal parts funny and moving for kids and adults alike.
Something my granddad could appreciate as much as he did a Grand Day Out. Or perhaps something to inspire the next generation of wanderers on their way home from school. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Aardman getting into video games in the comments section below, or you can come find me on Twitter, I'm at DigixArt. But until then, I'll see you next time.